We've just done episode 20 of Perspectives. Episode 20 though, unbelievable. We had Vicky, the owner of Townhouse Swingers Club in Birkenhead. She was brilliant, fascinating to speak to. Kind of lifted the veil on what goes on behind the scenes in the Swingers Club. Really destigmatised the sort of seedy image that some people might have. And she was hilarious. She was proud. She owned what she and her husband do for a living. And it was just a really, really interesting hour. So we hope you enjoy it like we did.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
You're here because you're in a line of work that I think intrigues all of us. I was just saying off camera then that I drive past it. We've all heard it. It's become a bit of local folklore, the Townhouse. So if you can start off by just talking us through how you got into it, really.
Okay, so me and my husband were on the scene anyway before as customers, and we went to lots of different places.
Okay.
And my husband got ill. He got really ill and had to stop working for a little while. And I was like the breadwinner. And so I was looking for other things to do apart from a full-time job, just to try and get some extra cash in and there's bar work going at the club. So I took on the bar work and I was there for a little while, really liked it, took to it. And they needed a new manager. So they offered me the manager's job, and literally within a year I'd left my real life job. I went from bar work to management to owning it, and it was like, oh, it's always like meant to happen.
Wow.
Not that I'd want my husband to get ill again for some great thing to happen, but it was a great thing that happened out of something really terrible. So yeah, we took it on. It was a chance, it was a risk to leave my other job to do that, but it was the best thing I ever did.
Okay, so it was an old pub before, wasn't it?
It was called the Old Manor.
Yeah.
And it was always a den of iniquity. So back in the day, it was open to dockers of a lunchtime. There'd be like pole dancers and lap dancers.
Yeah, because it's just by Camel Laird, isn't it?
Yeah. So before it was Townhouse, there was already a pole in situ. So it was meant to be.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Loads of the pubs, like where we are now on the Dock Road, they always have strippers on, didn't they?
Yeah.
On a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I wouldn't know, but yeah.
So when you got a job in there, was that because you were a customer? You were...
So the only ever, and still now, we only ever take on people that are already on the scene. Just so you've got a full understanding of the people that walk through the door, you can empathise with them, because obviously we have people like swingers, fetishists, LGBT members, so we like our staff to represent the members that come in, and it was the same back then, so we only ever took on people that already work there, which makes sense. Really.
Yeah, of course. So you must have some crazy stories about some of the goings on in there.
I could write a book. I'd love the time to write a book.
Yeah, maybe one day you could. Yeah. But in terms of you talked about you were going there, you were a customer, then you're now sort of, so do you own it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the friends and your family and stuff that you've got then, did you see any change in their attitudes?
Yeah. So at first, not everybody knew. We kept it to ourselves. Just while we were finding our own feet, really, with working in the club. And we didn't want to have to deal with people being judgmental, because people are, regardless of, being family or close friends, they will judge you. And I wasn't ready for that. So we kept it to ourselves and just told a few people that we had to tell. And also our children were still quite young. So we didn't want it to be out there so much and then they be bullied in school and stuff. Yeah. So the people that did know were fine. We told the people that we knew would be okay with it. And then over time, we just sort of, don't give a shit anymore. It is what it is. We're really good at it. It's successful. And I'm actually really, really proud of it. And then the last person found out in October last year and disowned me.
Really?
So, yeah. And it was a family member that outed me. But that, it is what it is. If that person doesn't want to accept it, then tough shit, they're lost, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But so far, everybody, bar one or two, have actually been more curious and great made up for you, really. I think people nowadays are more open-minded about stuff. More people are more curious than others. Other people are gutted because they wanted to come to the club before and now won't because now we own it and don't want to be there while we're there. And others are like, you know what, one life, live it. Who cares?
Yeah.
As long as you're happy.
The curiosity thing is a big one, isn't it, really? And I think Greg and I were in Germany recently, and we were discussing before about the attitudes there.
So liberal.
Is worlds apart to here.
Love Germany.
We're in Berlin, so
Yeah. There's just dicks everywhere, just on the streets.
There is, totally.
And I couldn't believe there's there's like adverts for like the Dildo King just on the street, which you just wouldn't normally see.
You should go to Hamburg. It's even better in Hamburg. Proper dicks everywhere there. Yeah. It's good. Germany's very, very liberal. A lot of European countries are, but especially Germany, there's like latex shops just on the high street, next to like exactly, yeah. It's great. And what a great attitude to have. Sex is normal, and they treat it as such. But in this country, we're just so stuffy.
Have you seen any change at all, and do you think there will be, or do you think it's a British thing?
Yeah, there definitely has been change, and I think it's because more and more people like myself are coming out and talking about it more and making it normal. Because it is normal, sex is normal. Whether you have it with your partner or somebody else, it's still normal. We all have needs and fantasies. It's whether you actually go out and seek out those fantasies with people. So more and more people are coming out and talking about it, and I think that's making it normal, and it's making it less seedy and taboo, and it's just normal. So I think there's definitely a change and a shift. And also, I think people are more concerned about other more important things like Brexit and where we're going rather than swingers, we're the least of people's worries nowadays. So I think people are like, do what you want to do, because actually there's more important things to worry about, really.
It's definitely opened a conversation in certain, like Liverpool, Merseyside scene, hasn't it, in terms of beforehand. I don't think... I knew the concept swingers, but I didn't even imagine there was a swingers club in Liverpool. I know when I was reporting on the Echo, and someone tried to open one on Henry Street in town.
Yeah.
Spent
2007 that was.
Yeah, load of money kitting it out.
Yeah.
And then I don't think it even went anywhere. But
yeah, Liverpool Council didn't want to open.
Yeah, so it takes time for opinions to change, but
it does, yeah.
I do sense that they're changing quite rapidly because of the way you and your husband are so upfront about it, the guide video, things like this.
Yeah, I'm quite open to the media, and we've had quite a lot of articles in the Liverpool Echo and other papers. And as long as people approach me and talk to me and they've got a genuine reason for reporting, then I don't mind. It's when they start, making things up and stuff that I'm not too happy about. So if people approach me and say, can you talk to me? Then yeah, if I'm involved, absolutely, you can write about us, that's fine. Because I'd like it to get out there more. I want people to be more aware and educated that swinging isn't just wife swapping. There's more to it, and it's not seedy and dirty.
How would you define it then? If it's because there is that kind of probably 80s vision of wife swapping.
Keys in a bowl.
Keys and all that.
Yeah. I don't think there's one party out there, it's keys in a bowl, or maybe like slapstick. Let's try the keys in a bowl and see if that works, which wouldn't. Swinging can be anything from just having sex in front of other people, because you're an exhibitionist, watching other people have sex, voyeurism, because that's what gets you off. Right up to soft swap, which is like just kissing other people and a bit of light touching, to full swapping with somebody, to a separate room, and even sometimes people like go with somebody else for the weekend somewhere. It can be like the extreme is like very, very varied, and it can be singles, it can be couples. We have poly families that come in as well, so it's huge. It's very, very broad. It's not just wife swapping. And actually, I think if people are really honest with themselves, I think everybody's got a fantasy. It's just, are they willing to talk about it? Are they willing to act it out? And are they willing to come somewhere like Townhouse to fulfil that fantasy? I don't think there's many people that haven't got a fantasy that isn't just having sex with their partner.
I think Partridge style. Missionary.
I think a lot of people have them, but they tend to just be in the bedroom locked away or in the bathroom or whatever, whereas you're obviously providing that platform to
act them out.
Do whatever you want, be whoever you want to be.
It's so liberating.
Yeah.
And to watch people blossom and grow. We have single females that come in, and obviously they haven't got a partner, and they may feel insecure about their bodies or whatever, and they want to meet people, but they don't want to go into Liverpool, idiots and stuff. They want to feel safe and meet people in a safe, secure environment where we're going to look out for them, and they're not going to be ridiculed. They're not going to feel like overweight or whatever it is, that the hang up that they've got. And you find after a few visits, they blossom. And it's so good to see that they come in quite shy. Within a few weeks, they're walking around in their underwear as soon as they walk through the door and chatting away, enjoying drinks, dancing on the dance floor in the lingerie. And you're like, wow, gosh, where did this person come from? It's so empowering. And it doesn't mean that they're going to then go ahead and have sex with anybody that's in the room. They might not do that at all. Just dancing in the lingerie can be just enough for some people, and how amazing is that?
Yeah.
So to see people develop and grow and fulfil the things they want to fulfil in a safe environment, it's quite a privilege, really.
Is that tying into the whole sex positive movement, where it's kind of taking ownership of your sexuality rather than thinking if you're a single person, but particularly a female who's going in that environment, might get called a slag or promiscuous or anything like that. But
absolutely.
it's like owning your own sexuality and not being
Absolutely,
ashamed.
sex positivity is really important, and it's something that we talk about quite a lot at Townhouse. That it's okay to do what you want to do, be what you want to be. You're not going to be judged, and if you have sex with 2 guys in one night, it's okay. It's not, you're not going to be called a slapper or anything. It just means that's what you want to enjoy at that time. Or girls, it's whatever it is really, and it's very important that we embrace that and we encourage people to just be what they want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. You must have, given that it's anything goes, and it's such a liberal attitude towards sex and everything within the walls of Townhouse, you must have quite a strict induction programme, sort of do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Have you seen the website?
Yeah, I've seen little bits of it.
You're fibbing.
No, I've seen little bits.
The website is really comprehensive. I put it together myself.
Okay.
And there's links on there to rules and etiquette, dress code, the ID that we expect. So from the first time somebody reads the website, they know straight away that they can't just walk in and do what they want to do. We're going to not vet them as such, but we're going to take information from them. So if they want to cause trouble in the club, we've got their information. So we don't get trouble, first of all.
Yeah.
So straight away, that sort of repels the idiots, or at least we try and filter them out. So that's one thing. And then the rules and etiquette is all about mutual respect. You shouldn't have to say it. Don't be pushy. Don't be the wanky man walking around the club. It gets you nowhere. So it's all those sorts of things. So straight away, we're already building up a picture of the sort of people that we want in the club and how we want people to behave in the club. And then when they actually come in, they hand over their ID. We get them to fill out a membership form. There's a disclosure on there about what happens in the club stays in the club. And again, the mutual respect. And then they have a tour. And on the tour, we go over everything again. And then it's their opportunity to ask any questions, and no question's a silly question. So hopefully by the time they've gone through that process of reading the website, probably phoning us up with some questions, coming in, having the tour, by then they're like, yeah, great, ready to go. And hopefully during that process we have filtered out the idiots who don't get it.
And it's a mix of people from all walks of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Professionals, and
Yeah, literally
everything.
all walks of life. Working class, middle class. We have a few judges come in. Can't say who they are, obviously. Police, teachers, health professionals. We have a lot of electricians, plumbers. We have people from all walks of life. Single mums.
Cliche,
Well, do you know what? It's really good because we've got this sort of repertoire now of tradesmen. So when we want a job doing at the club, it's like, well, can we negotiate a rate with some free entries? Not payment in kind, but some free entries and do a little bit of a deal. It's great. So now we've got loads of tradesmen.
Do you have issues with balancing the male-female? Because to me, and it might sound really old-fashioned here, but I would imagine something like that should be loads of fellas wanting to sign up, and you're constantly trying to say, well, actually, we've got to...
Yeah, lads just expecting sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that many women. That's how I'd imagine it too.
Okay, so yes, we do. Again, there's this sort of filtering process, and on the events that we advertise, it will normally say if there's a ratio that we're going for. So what we'll do is we'll book in a set amount of ladies and couples, and then book in a set amount of guys based on the number of ladies and couples we've got. Other events, they could be a greedy girl type event where the ladies want to meet lots of guys in one day. Then it's like, guys, you come on in because these girls want to meet you. And then there's no real ratio. But on most events, there's either a set ratio. So Saturday nights, we have no more than 8 guys. So for those 8 guys, they're in high demand. Get the Weetabix and Viagra down them. And then other events like MILF Monday, which is the one that everybody always talks about, and there's a 3-to-1 guy to girl ratio. Yeah.
So sorry, 3-to-1.
3-to-1 guy to girl ratio. A lot of the ladies that are coming on that day do want to meet more than one guy at a time or throughout the day. So it could be several guys at once, or they meet one guy, have a quick drink and away, and then go back again. So we like to have a lot of guys for variety and just so there's enough, really. Without being, a lot of ladies can go and go and go. Sometimes guys can't. One go and that's it. So we need to make sure we have enough guys for our insatiable ladies.
It's funny because it sounds like the attention to detail you have. There's so much work that goes into it that people just don't see.
It's like a full-time job, and I wish I could clone myself 3 times. I literally work 90 hours a week. In the taxi on the way down, I'm answering emails, I'm answering messages from people who want to come in tonight, tomorrow, and people just have questions about the club. It literally is a massive job. I love it, but it can be tiring at times. So we have regular breaks whenever we can, just to like recharge. But even then, I'm on the beach, still answering questions. Hello, Townhouse, waves, beach, beer. So we're always working all the time. But it is what it is. You know, I knew what I was taking on. I've been managing it before, so I knew what the job entailed before we took it on as owners. But it's good. It's very rewarding.
So just how big is it then? Because obviously I said before, I pass it all the time. It's this what looks like used to be an old boozer. How big is it?
It's 4 floors. And I don't know the square footage really, shouldn't I? That's Jim's bag, he does all that. But it's big. From the outside, I don't think it looks as big as it is, although it looks like a big imposing building. It looks derelict from the outside, as you know, if you've been going past. Yeah. And we keep it like that on purpose. So again, filtering the idiots, you know. We do still get an odd one trying to get in at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're open. Pissed. So anyway, I'm going off tangents. So it's 4 floors. So we have a cellar dungeon. And then the ground floor is massive. So there's a big, massive bar, huge entertainment lounge, big, massive outdoor area, which isn't just for smoking. And then we've got 2 other floors with playrooms on. So it's huge. And I mean, our capacity on the ground floor alone is 150 people.
Okay.
We try to go over that if we can. So even if people will spread around the building, I'm like a health and safety nerd. So if I know that I can get 150 people out on the ground floor, then I'm happy then that, you know, I'm running a safe building. So I try not to allow more people in, even though they could spread out. So it gives you an idea, really. I could probably get about another 100 people on each floor. It is huge. But at the end of the day, you're not there just to have a dance and a drink. You're there to have sex with people. So if every floor was chocker, you wouldn't get a room. You'd be, you know, up against the corner, wouldn't you? Which isn't sexy.
So what about membership numbers then?
We've got 25,000 memberships. That's not members, that's memberships. I'd say probably about 12,000 of those now are couples. So that's like another 20, that's like 24,000 in couples.
Wow.
It's a lot. Obviously, we don't get them all the time. Some of those 25,000, they might, you know, get pregnant and leave the scene for a while, or they might split up with a partner or whatever. But I'd say, you know, a rolling numbers of members, about 8,000 a year. Come through the doors.
That is still a huge amount, isn't it?
25,000, staggering as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of kinky people out there.
Yeah. What's the sort of, are they predominantly from the northwest or just from
all over the place, literally everywhere? So MILF Monday, we get people travelling from all around the country. MILF Monday again. It's just one of those events now. It's just out there. Everybody wants to come to MILF Monday. There's over 100 people on a Monday morning coming in.
It's in the daytime?
In the daytime, 10:30 in the morning till 3:30. The last thing I want to do 10:30 in the morning is have sex. I just, well, you know, I work nights, so at 10:30 normally my head's on the pillow. Never mind having sex with people. So yeah, 10:30 there's always a queue outside as well. So people come from London, North East, Scotland, Ireland. There's a guy that actually flies in from Belfast every MILF Monday, and he'll land at John Lennon, hire a car, whiz up, have a great day, whiz back, fly home.
Wow.
That's how much he loves it.
Blows my
mind. And we have people from Europe as well. So they might have visited to come see the footy. We have a lot of Norwegians come into the city for the footy, come and visit the club, love it, and then they'll actually make a trip purposely then, without the footy, to come over and visit us again. We have people from everywhere.
Do you find that there's more people who aren't in Liverpool because it's people who want to go away and sort of have this little fun weekend or fun day, not on their own doorstep and not maybe bump into the neighbour or something? I
think actually when we first took it over, I'd say yes, that was the case, because people don't want to bump into people that they know. It's like that awkward moment of I've just seen my boss, which happens. So most people would then, go to Blackpool or other clubs. But actually, at the time, everybody else had the same opinion. And so they were more likely to bump into another Scouser in Blackpool than we were in our club, because everybody was thinking the same thing. But now I think people are a little bit more like, do you know what, if it happens, it happens. I think what we were saying before about people becoming more liberal-minded now, it's like, well, if I bump into somebody, they're there for the same thing, so I'm not really that bothered anymore. So we are finding more people from the Liverpool Merseyside area coming in now, but we still have got the same amount of people coming in from elsewhere as well.
Have you ever had any crazy situations like that where someone's had to avoid somebody?
Oh, all the time.
Come on, spill.
All the time. I can tell you probably the strangest, most off-the-wall story that you probably think you are so bullshitting. there was this lovely, lovely professional guy who'd been coming for a while to fetish nights, and he wanted a scenario where it was like a public humiliation on a BDSM night. So a mistress dressed him up as like a sissy. So he had like a wig on, and he had like a sissy mask on and a dress and these like big frilly knickers, and he was bent over a spanking bench and she was paddling him in front of everybody watching, like enthralled by this scene. And he was counting out the numbers, thank you mummy, all that sort of thing. And next thing is this small group of people came in, and one of them was his son.
Oh no.
But he had a mask on, so the son didn't know. So I was watching the scene, as I always do with public scenes.
So you knew you could see this unfolding?
I didn't know that they were related. I knew they both came into the club, didn't know that they were. So I always watch these public scenes to make sure, safety, that the person's still okay, and if the safe words being shouted, everything stops. So I'm always watching. So I just saw a change in this guy's body language. I could almost hear him go, shit. So I sort of like stepped forward, and I just like a bit of an eye thing to the mistress, like, I think we need to stop. So she finished off the scene, and we just like quickly like just scurried him out. I went, my son's just walked in the room, I need to like escape before he sees me. So we went into the ladies, I went up to his locker, got all of his stuff out. I give him his stuff. The ladies' toilet's like by a fire exit, you see. So just sort your bill another time, you just need to go. And he scurried out the bills, and it was like a near catastrophe. Imagine seeing your dad bent over a spanking bench, dressed as a sissy, saying, 1, thank you, mummy. 2, thank you, mummy. Oh.
the way you like Ray Donovan, the shit out of it, went in, got him, bang, he's out the fire escape, and his son was none the wiser.
No, didn't have a clue.
I hope he paid extra next time.
What would your safe word be, Greg? I reckon it would be...
Definitely.
No, that wouldn't be a very good.
It wouldn't really work, would it?
No.
It sounds like
it would, actually.
You're enjoying it? Let's carry on. We have some weird safe words. Butterfly, sausages. Mainly red.
Yeah, I guess.
That's just a mad situation, though.
But we have them all the time. And then there might be somebody that walks in, and they'll pay to come in, and then they walk into the bar, and in the corner of their eye they see a family member or their boss. There seems to be a lot of this whole boss-employee thing that happens quite a lot. And then just like, about turn, I'm going to have to go. And give us the key back, the tab number, and we sort the bill, out they go.
What about so people who are in a relationship but have come individually?
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Yeah.
It's bound to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
So you mean without the other one knowing?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't always get to know that, to be fair.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily.
No. But we have had situations where guys have been coming for a little while, and then he's found out also that his wife comes and there's like been murder. But
it's a bit hard-faced, isn't it? Like,
I know, yeah. It's like, well, you both do the same thing. So
picture the scene like having murder in the bills on the dance floor. Funny that.
You're out of order.
Yeah.
So do you have security there, or do you kind of act as?
No. So there's always
you
a
don't?
manager on reception. No, we don't need it.
Okay.
Like I said, we filtered the idiots before, so they look at the website, we speak to them on the phone. Now we've got an intercom system as well, and CCTV right around the building. So there's always a manager on reception watching the CCTV, speaking to people on the intercom. People only come in once you've spoken to them on the intercom. Are you a member? Are you booked in? And we tend to watch people, so, if they're walking to the building like a letter S, then they're not going to get in because they're drunk. Or, for instance, if they come to reception and they've got eyes like saucers, you high as a kite, off you go. So we don't need security. And also, you've got to think about this. People don't want to draw attention to themselves when they come into a club like ours. So they're not really going to kick off so much so that the police are going to get called, because they just out themselves as a swinger then. So people generally, if they have like a little argument between themselves, they'll go away quietly because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. So you don't need security.
We were saying before we started recording, there's like you've got a zero drugs policy as well, haven't you? Yeah.
So we have UV lights everywhere.
Yeah.
You need to come to the club and come and have a look around. We've got this amazing new lounge. There's an artist, I'm going off on one again, called John Coleshaw. I need to get him in there. He's an amazing urban artist. And you see his work popping up everywhere. And he's come into our entertainment lounge and done this amazing artwork right around the walls. And it's all like pop icons. So he's done it in UV. So we have UV lights everywhere, and people think the UV is to enhance the artwork, which it is, because it's amazing artwork. But it's also there so we can see little white, glints under noses. So if people, I've also got one reception as well. So if somebody walks in and they've been snorting coke before they come in, I see it straight away because there's a UV light right on top of them. And also we have other measures in the toilet. So if people decide to put a line on the toilet, we know straight away, and it's destroyed, and they're out.
I was chatting to aerostess the other week, and some of them put Vaseline in the toilets for the same reason. Yeah, same reason. Yeah, because it's just everywhere, isn't it?
Well, we use WD-40, and that turns coke to mush, like brown mush. And this sounds really bad. I don't take drugs, so when I see a line of brown mush, it sort of makes me smile. Because I've destroyed somebody's coke, and they shouldn't have been taking it in the club in the first place. They know our zero tolerance on drugs, and so when I see that, I'm like, it's cost you money, it's destroyed, never mind.
Yeah, it's a strange choice of a drug to go to a place like yours anyway.
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
Not going to work.
Is there a fine line between people though, who want to be less inhibited, but then also obviously not taking Class A drugs and whatever, but it's fully licensed, isn't it? There's a big bar downstairs, so there's some people just like speed drink to get through there. Yeah,
and we've got to keep an eye on that really, because for guys, drinking too much doesn't help in the erection department. So, and also people push each other's boundaries and their own boundaries when they've been drinking too much. So with newbies on the tour, we'll always say, look, try and slow down your drinking. I know when you're nervous you can knock it back a little bit, but you don't want to walk out at the end of the night going, what the hell did I just do there? You want to look back and go, that was amazing, and I want to come back. You don't want to be regretting what's just happened. So slow your drinking down. And the bar staff have got no qualms whatsoever in saying, you know what, I'm going to slow you down, have a coffee or a water. And if they start arguing the toss, well, you've got a choice. You either have a soft drink or you leave. Our policy on it. And it keeps everybody safe. At the end of the day, in a sexually charged atmosphere, you don't want drunks, falling around everywhere, touching you up when they shouldn't be, and being pushy. You still want to feel safe. If there's a lady dancing on a dance floor in her underwear, she doesn't want to be mauled by a drunk. Do that in Liverpool. Maybe not in your underwear. Or maybe in some places. But you want to feel safe, and so, we've got to be careful with people's alcohol consumption, so, we can keep that in the level of safety. And, for the drunk, we don't want them to get, imagine a straight male having a few to drink, all of a sudden bi-curious, the next day going, oh my God, I've had sex with a man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You might have enjoyed it, but the next day you might regret it. Yeah. So you've got to look after people, everybody, not just the people that have been drinking, the ones who aren't, so...
You're already illustrating some of the reasons why, excuse me, the example that you gave before about a single female who's not very confident, and she'll come there and you'll see her sort of open up, because you're enabling that lovely, friendly and welcoming atmosphere. I've worked in the city centre for a lot of years, DJing and stuff, and I used to see some awful behaviour from lads, like predatory behaviour.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't take no for an answer. Mm-hmm. So I suppose, in a way, it's arguably a little bit safer than going to your place, isn't it?
It is, and actually in all the male toilets, or all the toilets, we have some basic fundamental rules on laminated thing on the toilet door. We have loads of rules, but they wouldn't fit on a piece of paper. But the main one is no means no. And so if a guy was to approach a girl and say, do you want to come upstairs and play? And she said no, that's the end of it. Now, like you say, in Liverpool, they are really predatory and they won't take no for an answer. If that happens in our club, they get one chance. And if they do it again, they're out. And everyone gets told that, so we just don't get that level of trouble in our place. So the ladies know they're not going to be hunted out, and pressured into doing something they don't want to do. And the rules are reminded on the back of toilet doors.
Okay. I find it mad as well, like, the people, you go in, you sort of, I don't want to use the word normal, but your normal life, and then you see, you read about some of these mad things that people do behind closed doors. There must be a sort of gradual process that people become more and more confident and then get more and more...
Yeah, well, I think a swinging relationship develops like any relationship. So, your fantasies might start in the bedroom together, something that you talk about together, and then you find the balls to then go to a club like ours and explore those fantasies. And you do find that at first the rules are like, so we're not going to swing, we're just going to watch other people. fine. Then after a couple of months, well, we'll try that and see how that happens. And I always say, if you're going to develop, communicate at all times, and before, during, after, have your own little safe word or your own little wink or touch or whatever if you want to get out of it, so you're out. And yeah, so over a period of maybe a year or months, it will develop like any other relationship. You'll try things like that, didn't like that. You explore the things you do like, and before you know it, you're much further down the line, doing things you might not have even thought of before because you've been watching other people doing those things. And as long as you communicate at all times and make sure that you're both still happy doing what you're doing, then why not? And then as soon as one person says, actually, do you know what, I've had enough, I'm bored, or I didn't like that, it stops, or you just don't do that thing again. As long as you communicate, it'll work like any relationship.
How did you kind of become a swinger?
When I first met my husband, we were just like really open-minded, really, over a few drinks in town, talking about things. We've got quite a high sex drive, and so it just sort of developed from there, really. And quite quickly we thought, try other things, and it just seemed to be a natural thing for us. We'd both been in relationships before that weren't great, and so when we met each other, it was almost like a breath of fresh air. I felt liberated that he wanted to try the things, I wanted to try the things, we could do it together, and there wouldn't be any jealousy or anything, and it just went from there, really. Yeah, and we went all over the place to try different clubs.
Oh, of course, because there was no Townhouse then, was there? So
no.
Would you go all around the country, northwest, like some of the
Northwest, yeah. There used to be one in Liverpool. I don't think it was legal. Called Pussycat's Pleasure Rooms. It was in Walton Vale. I think it was open for about a year or two. And you used to have to go around a little back alley, and that was our first club. And it was a bit seedy, I've got to be honest. But when it's your first club, it always has a special place in your heart. And it was nice. It's just like going and seeing your friends every week. It was really, really good. But something happened. Liverpool Echo got hold of it, splattered it all over the paper, and then the council went, "Oh, Swingers Club, shut it down." So unfortunately, that was the first and last club in Liverpool. So then we had to go further afield. And then Townhouse opened in 2005.
So you've got such a wonderful liberal attitude towards sex and a lot of things which are probably otherwise frowned upon. But what's your take on things like brothels and stuff like that? Do you think as long as both participants are willing, it's okay? Or
yeah, it's when they're not willing.
Yeah.
So I've got no issue with brothels whatsoever. I think the Netherlands have got the right attitude. They're controlled, they're legal, licensed. They're watched by the authorities really closely. It's when you've got illegal brothels and you've got girls there who might not actually want to be there. That's where my problem lies, and I'm sure everybody else is the same.
Trafficked or
yeah.
Forced labour,
Yeah. So it's like anything. I haven't got an issue with the sex industry at all, as long as everybody involved is consenting. And it's legal and above board. Why not? Yeah, but obviously the illegal brothels are a big problem.
Are you from like a really liberal background?
No.
Anyway? No. You know what I mean? Either like that bohemian.
That sounds like
No.
it's the opposite, and you've been a bit of a rebel maybe in your teens.
I've always been a rebel, always. From when I was very young, I've always been like a bit of a goth. And even in school, I did well at school, but I was always like fighting the system, And, growing up, I left home really early to do my own thing, I knew everything. And, no, I've always, fought against what's normal, I suppose. And my dad's really, really religious. Okay. Really, really religious, doesn't agree with anything that I do.
Not Catholic by any chance?
No, no.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, it's just sort of, I've sort of come from nowhere, I think I'm the black sheep. Yeah.
Interesting. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because we're all so surprised by it, but I suppose I know a lot of my mates and that have gone to Amsterdam in the past and got involved, but it's a different thing, I guess. Have you ever had a scenario of you've been walking around, I don't know, the Asda, and you've seen people, and you've had to sort of, how do you approach that?
I don't acknowledge them in case there's people around. So if they see me, I'm really, really good at just ignoring, really, and pretending that I don't know them.
Yeah.
But if they acknowledge me, I'll acknowledge them. So it's always it's safe to say hello. And some people will come over, some people go like a little cheeky wink, little knowing, fellow swinger. But there was one day in Costco, and I was just going for a Costco cake. Isn't Costco cake amazing? Yeah. And I saw 4 people. I'm like, this is like Swinging Central today. Everybody's in here. It was mad. But like a lot of people with the families, so I was walking past going, another one of ours. But yeah, you see people out all the time.
Do you know, working in such a sexualised environment, especially when it's during an event, so it's like always kind of, does that ever have an adverse effect on your own sex life with your husband?
Yeah, and so people often say when the door's closed, you and Jim must have a ball in here. And the last thing you want to do at the end of the shift is go upstairs to one of the rooms and have sex. It really is. One, you're tired. You've been changing sheets and picking up other people's condoms all night. And, you know, without putting too fine a point on it, you know, people have been having a lot of sex in our rooms and it needs to be cleaned. And I'm not going to have sex in a room when people have been in there all night. No.
Can't be smelling well, that.
Do you know what? I was trying to be a bit, but no, it doesn't smell good. So it needs to be cleaned, and no, there's no way that I'm going to be up there getting down and sex in a room like that afterwards. So no, we don't. The club has affected that side of things a little bit. We haven't actually swung for a while. One, I haven't got time.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And also, we've been doing it for years, and it's like, do you know what? We sort of like come full circle. We've loved it. We had a little break for a while. We came back to it. And then we just stopped because we just thought, well, now we're giving back. We're everybody else is benefiting from our experience of travelling around and seeing other clubs, and now we're presenting a club that we think works, but we're not involved ourselves. I still play on the fetish side of things, in fetish night tonight actually, so I'll be playing tonight. But there's no sex involved in that, so I don't swing anymore, but I do still play on the BDSM side. But in our own personal life, it hasn't affected things. In our own house and that, everything's still fine there.
Okay.
But not in the club.
Talk us through a fetish night then, because I'm surprised that you just said there's no sex involved there.
Okay, so we do have some fetish nights where there's a crossover and people will have sex on fetish nights. But a night like tonight, it's called Radical Desire. It's a night for pure fetish. So it's people that are into any kind of kink whatsoever, like anything, to come and just do what they want to do. Without, you know, swingers in front of them doing the swingy thing, because some fetishists don't want to see people having sex. Their fetish could just be walking around in a dog mask or latex all night, or, you know, as a doll. They don't really want to go and see people having sex. So on a BDSM night, we generally say that people have sex behind closed doors. So we've got a couple of private rooms, so people do get a little bit horny from whatever they've been doing. They can go behind closed doors and do what they want to do. But in the public arena and in the group play rooms and dungeons, there's no sex. There might be some sexual contact, but not sex. So with some BDSM play, there might be a little bit of a crossover whereby you know, a man might be enjoying what's happening and he might get an erection, but we don't do nothing with it. Just let him have his erection.
I was going to say, is a fetish always inherently sexual, or can it just be?
It can be anything.
Yeah. Anything.
You know, a fetish is anything you want it to be. But on this particular night, it tends to be more non-sexual. But we do have an event called Fetish. And so it's see what I've done there, yeah. And it's BDSM, but with sexual elements brought in. Right. So for those that want to have sex and get down and kinky, that's the event for them. And then we have some like really, really strict, hardcore BDSM events, which is invite only. So there's no sex at all in those events, and it's really, really hardcore. So it's only people that I know can take it and won't be completely shocked by it.
So have you seen them videos, by the way, where the fella goes, "Oh, you had a good week," and you must have seen them with the little owl.
No.
No, what's it called? Come on, guy.
Is it an advert or something?
No, it's like a
Simply Lovely.
Simply Lovely.
Seen that?
He's seeing you.
Yeah,
yes.
all that, yeah.
So there's some weird stuff on that, right? There's one where some fella's getting like a conker fired up his arse.
Yeah.
Like, is there any weird shit like that goes on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And people firing things out of their arse as well.
I can't get out.
So have you some of your scenes and that being involved in Simply Lovely then? Do you know it well?
No, we can't film in the club.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
people have to leave the phones then?
Yeah.
Check the phones, and that's good, yeah.
So you can't have your phone on at any time. It has to go in your locker or whatever. obviously, if mums and dads have got babysitters at home, they can always like come to reception with the phone and look at it in front of us, so we know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But if they get the phones out, people get a little bit worried that they're going to be filming things inadvertently. So when we don't allow phones at all. Now, we do have some private hires whereby people can hire the facilities, do their thing, and film each other because it's private. But on public events, no phones and cameras allowed at all. So unfortunately, we haven't made it to Simply Lovely. Simply Lovely.
Not yet, anyway.
That video with the owl. That was video with an owl, but now I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know why he's got an owl at the beginning of that Simply Lovely video.
I don't even know that started, but it's quite funny, some of it.
It sort of went viral on WhatsApp, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had to change his name. I think the Simply Lovely guy. I think somebody complained. It was similar to something else, so it's called something else.
Oh, really?
Now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I wonder how you monetise something like that. I mean, otherwise, why did you do it?
Everyone gets stag do's and that get the t-shirts.
Yeah, but they just go to like a t-shirt printer, don't they? Or does he sell merch?
I don't think he sells merch.
Interesting.
He must do. Yeah, he wouldn't do it for nothing, would he?
Well, you wouldn't
Shits
have
and
thought so, would you?
giggles.
Yeah, because there's a lot
There's a lot that goes into it.
That goes into that, yeah.
His laugh in those videos, though, sometimes I laugh at him more than the actual
Yeah,
video.
it's that
I mean,
big
for me,
Yorkshire
there's not an
laugh.
awful lot I haven't seen now. You know, so I look at like, oh, yeah. Occasionally I go, oh,
Is it once a week, is it? He does it?
yeah.
Used to be, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit slower now, though, isn't it?
It was a WhatsApp thing initially, but I think it's got a website and that now.
Oh, that's how the social media. So are you more or less unshockable?
Yeah. There's not an awful lot shocks me anymore. Occasionally,
You
something
must
will.
walk into the room sometimes and go, whoa, what's going on here?
Do you know what? Jim often jokes that we can sometimes be glass collecting and there's this like big orgy going on. And actually, rather than look at the orgy, you're looking for glasses and condoms on the floor. Because you've seen it so many times now, you just don't even see the orgy anymore. You're doing your job. But there was this one night, I mean, there's loads of nights that things have happened and it makes me go. There's one night and there's loads of newbies in. And I thought, newbies, not an awful lot's going to happen here because they're all a little bit nervous. And then it was quite a quietish night, maybe about 40 people in, 35, 40 people in. Thought nothing's going to happen here tonight. They're all sitting downstairs like little terrified deers in headlights, you know. Anyway, they all disappeared off about 11 o'clock and maybe they're having a little watch and a wander. I went up about 12:30 and we've got a room called the orgy room. And there's two big massive king-size beds, some floor space, some like benches that you can bend over, spine core, whatever, and some sofas. And everywhere else was quiet, but I could hear noise coming from the orgy room. So I popped my head round and there was no floor. There was just people everywhere. I was like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. All these newbies have obviously thought, I'm going to make the most of this. Everybody was in this room. It was chocker. And I was like trying to work out whose leg was whose and whose foot was whose. It was mad.
Really?
Yeah. So it was one of the very few times I've gone downstairs to staff and said, go up to the orgy room. You've not seen anything like this before. It was mad.
Seen like ancient Rome or something.
Yeah, it was literally like a Roman orgy.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was good. And they were all newbies.
Do people go in? Do you know when they first go in? A lot of people wear masks and stuff like that. No?
No, we do have masquerade nights. But no, nobody wears masks.
Do you mean those like half mask things?
Like
Yeah,
masquerade
just in
type
case-
Yeah, yeah,
Venetian
yeah.
masks, yeah.
Because you know it's like British attitudes. It must be mortifying.
But your voice...
Think about it, right? To go from, not going to somewhere like that, not being on the scene, to then taking this step to go, and that's not something you decided just overnight and go, is it?
No.
I'm guessing it must take a lot of time to build up the courage to go, sign up and go through your
Research and all
induction,
that,
research, blah, blah, blah. And then to go, one of the worst things must be to see, like, your neighbour.
Yeah.
You're like, hi Gary, all right, mate?
But
what
then
are you doing here?
the neighbour is in the same boat, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
suppose that's where,
To out you, they've got to out themselves first, and nobody's going to do that. So after the awkward, like, oh, hi, what are you doing here? Then you think, actually, your brain engages and you think, well, they're here for the same thing. And for them to tell Joe Bloggs, your mate, they'd have to say, I was in a swingers club the night, guess who I saw? You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to come out and admit they've been to the club. So once you get over that hang-up, if you see somebody you know, it's funny in the end. And we do have people that, share a workspace and have come to the club, and there's like that little, how was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Yeah.
Is there a lower age range, like 18?
18,
And
yeah.
then is there an upper age range?
No.
What's some of your older customers?
I'd say, do you know what? There's this lovely guy who used to come in, and he stopped coming in around May last year, and he was 87. God love him.
Right.
And he was always immaculate, like pristine, always used to smell great. His hair, his white hair was always coming back. And he never, ever did anything. He just came in for the jollies, basically, you know. He couldn't get an erection, you know. And he just came in just to enjoy life while he could and watch pretty ladies doing very naughty things. And he was a lovely, lovely guy. And he said, "Oh, I'm not well, I've got terminal cancer." And it really upset me. And then he just stopped coming in. I'm like, I think he might have passed away. So he's probably the oldest one we've ever had. And he wasn't weird. You know, some people are like, an old guy walking around. But he was just a really nice, non-creepy guy who looked after himself. And he wasn't like leering after people. He just discreetly sit back with a little cup of tea and watch people at play. Why not?
I suppose the human side of people shines, like where you would imagine, like, you know, there'd be a seedy element too, but I suppose on the flip side, especially in Merseyside, people's humanity shines through it like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think people have perception it's going to be seedy, but actually in real life it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it comes across seedy at all, the way you're explaining it. You know,
no, this doesn't, but like your stereotypical...
Yeah, stereotypical swingers club, yeah. I mean, and without being awful, there are some seedy ones out there.
Yeah.
But I think now there's a lot of clubs around, and without like putting too fine a point on it, ours is one of the best, and we've set the bar really high, and so other clubs are now following suit, you know, and they're decorating. They're not red and black, which is a stereotypical seedy swingers club. You know, they're becoming more mainstream and modern, and the calendar is broader. So at one time a swingers club would just be a swingers club. They wouldn't have fetish nights, wouldn't have LGBT nights, and we have for years, and so other clubs now are following suit, and so there's a much broader audience. So yeah, that sort of seedy attitude isn't quite there now. Hopefully we're dispelling that, because, you know, all the clubs are becoming more mainstream.
So people would be quite surprised if somebody popped in there on a Friday night. Is that your busiest night of Friday?
Friday, Saturday, yeah.
So someone popped in. Just paint the picture for us. What's it like walking in? Is everybody just in their underwear, or is it...
Okay,
as they've had a bevy, they sort of strip off?
It depends on the night. So let's say it's a swinging Saturday. We don't call it swinging Saturday, by the way, because that's like dead corny. But let's say it's a swinging Saturday. So when you walk in, it's like a reception area. There might be some people mulling around, just saying hi to each other. But then you walk into the bar, and it's like a really nice, classy, well-lit bar. So it's not like dark and seedy, with a huge bar, nice gym bar too. And everybody's really well-dressed. So you don't dress down into underwear straight away. We don't enforce that downstairs at all. And on most Saturdays, everybody really makes an effort. So, you know, the guys in the waistcoats and the shirts. Some guys will put a suit on. Maybe some of the younger guys might put jeans and a waistcoat on. And the ladies really make an effort. You're there to impress other people, aren't you, and to attract other people. And so they really make an effort with how they look, especially Liverpool girls, you know, with their lashes and their extensions and everything. You know, they look amazing. You know, so you walk in, you're like, this is a very nice night out here. You know, really nice, well-kept people. And then later on, if they want to go upstairs, then they'll dress down into the lingerie. Some ladies and guys feel more comfortable in the lingerie early doors, so they'll have a few drinks, go upstairs, get changed, come back down
so
again.
The floor that you enter into is like a normal bar if you were looking around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the bar area, when you first walk in, it's just like any nice, classy bar. But when you go through to the lounge, the party lounge, then we often have bands, comedians, DJs, dancers, that sort of thing.
Wow.
And that might be where people might dance in their underwear. They can still wear what they've arrived in, but some ladies like, I'm going to dance in my skin piece because I can. So it might not be like any other bar in there. But in the bar area, it definitely is, yeah. It's like any other classy bar. And then on a fetish night, different again. So if you're walking on a fetish night, there's normally a queue out the door. So it's always busy, about 120, 130 people. That's what we're expecting tonight. And there'll be anybody... The dress code is minimum dark clothing, so something like this. Or fetish wear, alternative wear. So when you walk in there and you look in the bar, it's a sea of darkness straight away. But it's also, there could be somebody in all leather or latex, in like puppy ears, kitty ears. It could be anything at all. Nothing underwear, ball and chain. You know, it could be anything, as long as it's fetish, alternative, dark. So yeah, straight away you're sort of immersed into this BDSM atmosphere on a Friday night, and it gets you in the headspace. It's really good. Most people don't actually arrive in that obs. They'll go upstairs and then get changed
Yeah.
and then come back down. Occasionally, you do get some people tottering in their fetish gear. There's actually a really, really nice couple that come in on some of our niche events. And the lady's a mistress, lovely, beautiful lady. She always looks immaculate. And she has a male submissive who she calls Toy. And Toy always looks amazing in like sissy dresses. Toy is already really tall, and she wears heels like this. I don't know how she walks in them. And this mistress will make her walk across the main road where they park into the club in the daytime. I'm like, oh my God, we're trying to be discreet. It's like cars screeching to a stop. And
there's this Greek restaurant right there as well.
Exactly, yeah. And do you know what?
People choking on the halloumi.
She really just give a shit. It's like just walk her across. And it's great, and I'm sure that some heads do turn like, what the hell? But they don't care. And how great is that? And she just walks right into the club dressed as like a pink frilly dressed boss.
Do you have to do you have to police that people use like contraception and things like that?
Yeah, so we can't say to people, you must wear condoms. We
Yeah.
have condoms everywhere, on reception, on the bar, in all the playrooms. They're supplied free, and there's no excuse. So if you have somebody well endowed, we have king size. If latex allergies, we've got latex free. So there's no excuse. And we also have female dams as well. The female dams.
What's that?
Femi Doms, isn't it?
No. So you have femdoms, they're crap. They come out. No, dams are for oral. So if people don't want to actually enjoy oral sex without protection, then it's just like a square like rubber, and you put it over the area. I was about to do the action now. I remembered where it was.
Maybe the director's cut.
Yeah. The triple X version.
You put a DVD out at the end of the year, like the Brookie one.
So that's what a dam is. Yeah, you've learned something.
Okay, yeah.
Every day's a learning day.
You're blushing.
Every day's a learning
God
day,
love you. So anyway, so we have condoms everywhere. So there's no excuse, and the rules are we recommend everybody practice safe sex. And also using sex toys as well, putting condoms over sex toys, that sort of thing. But, if somebody goes into a private room and both people agree that they want to have bareback sex, then I can't stop them. But at the end of the day, they're consenting adults. And if they want to take that risk, then they take that risk. And we also recommend that active swingers who are playing all the time have regular STI checks. And we provide drop-in STI checking at the club.
Oh, wow.
And we can tell people where they can go for STI checks as well. Yeah. So, we do have like a no bag, no shag policy, but we can't make people do it.
Do you know, in this country, do you think, like, I don't know, you're not a spokesperson for sex, but for argument's sake...
Wow, what an accolade, hey?
You can be if you want.
Do you know what? I've arrived now, haven't I? I'm a spokesperson for sex. I've arrived.
Do you reckon sex education is good enough? Because, sort of like, I reckon they teach you better or worse some of the biology behind it, but not really, especially when you're adolescent. Some like the emotional sort of maturity and emotional side.
It's very mechanical.
Yeah.
It's a long time since I was at school, and it's very different, but obviously we've had children who've been through the sex education classes. And it's mechanical, boy meets girl, penis, vagina, missionary, and don't get pregnant sort of thing. This is how you don't get pregnant, how you don't get STIs, and that's it. There's no sort of like joy around it. So when the kids were telling me, because they've always been quite open, especially one, embarrassingly open with me one time, I'll tell you that in a mo. I was like, wow, this is so clinical. Okay, yeah, you're going through the motions of how to protect yourselves and why you maybe should wait and for the right person and everything. But they weren't talking about the joy of it all and the excitement and the first time. It was just, boy meets girl. Yeah. That was it, really. I was like, wow, okay, 21st century, and this is what we've come to. So, yes, oldest son, nearly 14, and I'm washing the dishes. Comes in from school. My husband's working away, great timing. And he said, can I just ask you a question? I'm like, yeah, mate, that's fine. I said, we had a sex education class in school today, and my heart sank. It's like, oh, wow, okay, we're a bit young for this, but okay, let's do it. So I just carried on washing the dishes, not quite looking at him yet. And he said, a wet dream's normal. I'm like, oh, God, where's Jim? Jim's working away. And he said, "Is foreplay always fingering?" I was like, "Oh no!"
Double whammy.
It's like, right, I need to dry my hands and we'll have a proper sit-down chat. But it was so nice that he could actually just ask me all of that, and it was okay. Yeah, it was great, actually.
His mum as well.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm actually a stepmom. I'm actually a stepmom.
Oh, okay, well,
yeah, I mean, I've known since he's very little, you know, I've always been around, but yeah. So I was thinking, where's his dad? I'm going to kill him. But yeah, it was nice that he could talk to me so openly, you know. 2 hours.
Yeah.
After on the phone to Jimmy going, "I'm going to kill you."
The kids do, like younger kids as well, seem to be under more pressure to be sexualised because of the way society is, don't they?
You know, you've seen some young girls walking around and they're like 12, and they're even just the way they hold their body, you know, pushing their breasts
Music
out
videos
and the swagger and what they're wearing. Like, wow, gosh, they're so sexualised at such a young age. It's worrying. And that needs to be addressed in schools and obviously parents as well. But kids have got such a pressure, haven't they, you know, to conform and to be like their friends. And it almost seems normal now for young girls to grow up really quickly. I mean, I grew up quick, but not that quick. You know, there's a school not far from us and I see the girls walking out of school and I sound like an old fishwife, like, "That skirt's far too short," because it is literally up here. Our skirt had to be below our knees, you know. But now... yeah, they look like they're going on a little clubbing night. Full makeup, extensions.
That fella's getting led across the road.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, his stilts.
It's stilts.
I don't know why
I'd love to see that, yeah. That's one thing we haven't had. Our ceilings are too low.
I suppose the most worrying thing for me with regards to that is the internet, because people in the teens, they don't realise how permanent it is.
No.
If you put something out there, it's there.
Absolutely,
like revenge porn and stuff like that.
And sexting and stuff like that.
There was a video that went round years ago of a girl, a Scouse girl, and this is like pre-Instagram, a lot of the internet really. It was back when you used to like Bluetooth videos. Yeah. And it went round.
Got Bluetooth.
Yeah, back in the day.
When I was
and I sort of knew somebody who knew her years and years later, and life had been ruined by it.
Well, yeah.
Just one video.
One simple act that's got out there. If you're going to put anything on the internet now, expect it to be shared. Simple as that, isn't it? You know.
Stop,
And I don't think kids are fully aware actually of the damage it can do. They might be aware that it gets out there, but as a child, you really understand the repercussions as an adult of how it can come back and haunt you. You know, if you want to go and do certain jobs. But actually, there's a porno video out there, from when you were young, or just your breasts out on a photograph. Unfortunately, I don't think kids understand the long-term repercussions of it.
You definitely are a spokesperson for sex, I reckon.
No,
qualified now.
Ministry for me.
I put that on my CV.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, listen, thank you very much. It's been very enlightening.
No, you're more than welcome.
I've learnt a lot. I'm going to go home and tell all now. So
you know what a dam is now?
I do.
Without the action.
Without the action.
Very nearly did that.
That next. Thanks so much, Vicky.
No, you're more than welcome. Thank you very much for having me.